Greetings from the Church Development and Evangelism Committee. Yes, I'm sitting at my desk, and the reality is that this is where I've sat for a long time doing a lot of meetings with this computer. And the truth of the matter is, I wanted to sit here as the chair of the Church Development and Evangelism Committee and as the pastor of Howard Memorial Presbyterian Church, member of the Presbytery with you all, to show that this is the life that we are living right now. And there have been some real struggles with the pandemic, but there's also been some real gifts of the pandemic. And one of those gifts is an opportunity for us to meet and to visit and to learn and to deepen our faith and connection to one another through the joy of the internet, through the reality of Zoom, and through the confines and the comfortability of our offices or of our homes or wherever it is that we watch and interact in these ways. I am excited to turn this video over actually to a planning team who has created some church webinars, small church webinars, for the rest of the fall and winter of 2021 and into 2022. So I'm going to turn it over to the planning team who are going to introduce themselves as well as the church webinar that they are going to be leading.
Our first event in the Staying In and Stepping Out webinar series is coming up this next Thursday, October 28th, as we talk about stewardship. Yes, it's stewardship season in so many of our churches right now. And this time of year is when church can start to feel a little like a public broadcasting pledge drive. But we know that stewardship is so much more than this. A lot more than taking up pledges, distributing offering envelopes, passing the plate, or even sending out an online giving link. So if you agree with that, or if you have more curiosities and questions on what that looks like, join us this Thursday at 7 p.m. for a book group discussion of Stewardship, Beyond the Offering Plate. It's a series of essays that seek to broaden our understanding of stewardship. If you don't have the book and want to catch up beforehand, the Presbytery office has a few copies left. Or you can stop by and listen in on the conversation. You can go over and sign up on the Presbytery's website.
Our second small church webinar this fall will focus on self-care for our small church leaders. We know that the leaders of our small churches, whether pastors, commission ruling elders, session members, musicians, no matter what your role, are more tired than ever. The continuing ups and downs of the pandemic have upended our best efforts and plans, zapped our time and energy, and increased our uncertainty about the present as well as the future. Join us on Thursday, November the 18th at 7 p.m. for the care and feeding of small church leaders, a panel discussion about how we care for ourselves. Our panelists will include my good friend Ashley Ann Masters, the campus minister at Raleigh Presbyterian Campus Ministries, and an experienced trauma chaplain, and Susan Mazzara, a minister, member at large, and former small church pastor. Join us as we talk about how to make space for God amidst all that surround us and the spiritual practices that can sustain us as we journey these days together.
Also, as we make our way into the new year, our third small church webinar will get us started stepping out. One of the great gifts of our work as the church is that we do not do our work alone. God is going before us and calls us to join in good work that is already happening in our communities and around the world. Sometimes the hardest part is just finding this work. Well, on Thursday, January 27th at 7 p.m., we will welcome Kylie Foley from the Rural Faith Communities Initiative at the Institute of Emerging Issues at North Carolina State University to talk with us about asset-based community mapping. Join us as we look at ways to identify the places where God is calling us to step out, and people who are already doing the work of transformation so that we can join in.
Our final small church webinar this winter will help us pick up on the Matthew 25 initiative that our presbytery affirmed earlier this year. The Matthew 25 initiative in the Presbyterian Church USA is inspiring the whole church to deepen its commitment to building congregational vitality, dismantling structural racism, and eradicating systemic poverty. On Thursday, February the 17th at 7 p.m., we will take a closer look at ways that we can build congregational vitality in our presbytery. We will be joined by Catherine Threadgill and Carlton Johnson from the Presbyterian Mission Agency to learn more about the marks of vital congregations and discuss how we can better express things in our work and worship together.
As you can see, there are some exciting things happening in our presbytery as always. That is a joy of being a part of New Hope Presbytery. But particularly, I wish to end by thanking the planning team of Reverend Andy James for putting this all together as the Associate for Small Church and also for Technology, two key elements that are coming up in the church webinars for our small churches. For Reverend Elizabeth Whitmer at Beargrass Presbyterian Church, for Reverend Alex Fisher at Hillsborough Presbyterian Church, and for Felicia Hardy, who is the commissioned ruling elder at St. Paul's in Lewisburg. We are grateful for your leadership, and we are grateful to partner with you as the Church Development and Evangelism Committee. I invite you to check out the dates that are up on the screen right now for you to sign up for these. I also impress upon you to go to the New Hope Presbytery's website where you can register for these amazing opportunities for small church webinars.